Coverlam can be installed directly on any kind of board or slab typically used in construction projects, provided they meet certain requirements. Prior to installing the Coverlam as a floor tile, you must ensure that you have everything you need to carry out the job correctly. Subsequently, you need to check that the substrate meets the following requirements. It needs to be completely clean of grease, oil, and dust, and it also needs to be dry with no traces of debris. The surface needs to be completely flat, solid, free of cracks, and needs to have been left to set for the recommended amount of time. Lastly, make sure that its hardness and mechanical resistance are appropriate for the intended use. Coverlam can be laid on top of existing flooring as well as on the substrate of a new build. Either way, you'll need to follow a number of the same steps when installing the tile. In general, for cement or stone substrates typically used in construction projects, it's best to use an improved deformable cement adhesive. When applying the adhesive, you need to use the back buttering technique. First, apply adhesive to the back of the tile, using a 3 mm flat notched trowel, without leaving any gaps. Next, apply adhesive to the substrate using a 6 to 9 mm slanted notched trowel, ensuring that the corners and edges are covered so that there are no uncovered areas between the substrate and the tile. Once the adhesive has been spread over the surface of the substrate, rest the tile on its long side at a slight angle and then lower it into place and fix it to the substrate. Use the tile spaces to create the required joints. A minimum joint width of 2 mm is recommended for interiors and 5 mm for exteriors. When the joints are set, tap the surface with a rubber float or mallet to eliminate any voids or air bubbles between the substrate and the tile. Always check that the tile is firmly fixed in the corners and edges. For grouting, you can either use a cement-based or epoxy grout. Before starting, read the manufacturer's instructions and wait for the length of time indicated. It's that easy to lay Coverlam floor tiles. Now you just need to wait for the length of time indicated by the adhesive manufacturer and avoid stepping on the floor for the first few hours after installation. Coverlam is an ideal product for renovations, as it can easily be laid on top of existing floors and walls without any prior need for demolition, thus avoiding those inconveniences typically associated with renovation projects: noise, dust, debris, and reducing completion times. If you're laying Coverlam over existing tiling, make sure it meets the requirements we mentioned before with regards to the cleanliness of the surface, in that the surface is stable and solid, leveled and flat. Then follow the same steps that have just been shown here.